try and live, but Pobelta snags a kill. Now they want to go. He's going to go down. Michael swoop back into the run. Adrian, the knockup again. The channel through. The taunt is in. That's going to be one. That should be a second. Altec. That long.
Hey guys, Parks Hauser here with the Game House, and I'm joined by Jack, C9 Jack, who's the founder and CEO of Cloud9. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. So congrats on the win. It was against TSM, who's been struggling a little bit this season, but it's definitely good to win that old rivalry game. Tomorrow you have Echo Fox,
Yes.
who is so far your only loss, and also the only other team that is with only one loss. So you're tied for first, and how are you going to win?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it technically, I could say they're first because they have the head-to-head loss. So, but like this weekend, I was only thinking about TSM. And if you were to ask me this morning who you're playing tomorrow, I'd probably say I don't even know. Like I was fully focused on TSM. Although TSM has had a rougher split, we spent a lot of time scrimming them. I know just how good they are, and they're a fantastic team. And they're not really showing it on stage, but those are top quality players, and I know they're going to be a force like come playoffs. And so I really wanted to win this game so that when we go into the postseason and it's a good chance we see TSM again, that we'll know, hey, we can beat these guys. Yeah. And because in the postseason, they're a nightmare. I mean, one of the teams has gone to finals every single split. That's a huge accomplishment. So winning today was really important for my team. It's extremely important for Sven Skaren. As being part of Cloud9, we wanted to give that to Sven Skaren, a victory off a real team. It's a huge thing. We just did it, recently with Impact leaving us. It was important for us as a team to beat a former player who's a friend of ours, but still we want to beat him. Also, we wanted to give support to Eric, like, hey, the guy that you replaced, like, you're on the right team. So we did that for Eric, and it was really important that we did that for Dennis as well. We did it, so it feels great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned you scrim against them a lot. They're still a very strong team. If the tables were turned and TSM was doing really well, like usual, and Cloud9 was actually the team struggling, what would your job be to kind of turn them around, flip the morale, and kind of get them going again?
Honestly, the regular season, the only thing that matters is that you qualify for playoffs. Once you get to playoffs, everything's gone. It doesn't matter. It's your record from the regular season. Nobody talks about how well a team did in the regular season last split. No one remembers. No one cares. No one's going to care about how we did in this regular season when it comes to postseason. The only thing that matters is you get to playoffs and what you do with it when you get there. And for me, in fact, even outside of that, I don't even care how I do at playoffs as long as I get enough circuit points to go to Worlds. That's my goal. And so for me, like, if I was in TSM shoes or if Cloud9 was performing poorly, I would tell them that, like, who cares how we did on our regular season? We just need to make sure we're 6th place or better at the end of this regular season, and then we're going to go crush those guys in the postseason and send them home. And then that's all that matters, because no one else remembers what happens in the regular season. You can say, I was undefeated in regular season, but I didn't go to Worlds, I didn't go play, did that in playoffs, like Immortals did, like their first year. They don't go out there and talk about how they did in the regular season. No one cares. Yeah,
that's a good point. So I want to talk a little about the franchising, the off-season, the big changes that happened. First, as the CEO, as kind of the one who is making sure that you still have a job going forward, at least with League.
I still got to fight for my job every day.
Yeah, that's true. How stressful was the application process, and what is different now for you now that it is franchised rather than last year with the relegations and such?
The biggest difference is that I can think long term now. So I would have never put my challenger team into a really nice house and invest so much money in the infrastructure like I have now that I'm in the permanent partnership. I wouldn't have done that, last year, because I didn't know how long this would go on. And so by being in a permanent partnership, it allows me to think much longer term. And I need to have an academy team that's producing top quality players that I would want to be on my LCS team. I need to make sure I have a really deep coaching staff to make sure those guys are actually training well. I need to make sure that like at any given week I would be okay with swapping those those academy players with my main team. And right now 25% of our scrim time is with our academy team. Every Tuesday, we're playing against our academy team. We're mixing players up. We're sending players on our LCS team to play like at the academy house, and we're swapping up the roster to make sure, hey, is this academy team of the quality of players that we need to be able to be thinking long term? And they are, and that makes me feel really good. And I wouldn't last year, that wouldn't even like entered my mind because I needed to make sure that I didn't get kicked out 6 months down the road. So it's really longer term. Thinking, investing more into my League of Legends team and to my academy team to be able to make sure that for the next like 10 years I have a really strong team, and that's a huge difference. And I know there was a lot of concern that teams would get lazy and sit around and not put the work in to make sure they had the top quality talent. That's just not the way things work. Not the case.
And so a lot of Redditors and average fans talked about how Cloud9 lost the offseason. I got to talk to Dardoch last week, actually, and he said anyone and everyone in the scene was actually really confident with the team that got put together, even with Licorice, being a rookie. And you've performed really well. So how was it going into, was it kind of the same story, like, don't worry about that, we're going to show them, we're going to prove that we actually have what it takes?
Yeah, there was nothing more frustrating than knowing that my team was strong, but there was no way I could actually demonstrate that to the fans that were really disappointed in what we had done. I just knew that, this is one of those situations we're just going to have to prove it. And so just, hold together, just focus on what we're doing, ignore, Reddit for now. Like I would basically reach out to my fans, say like, hey, just, trust that we're, there's a lot of information that I have on the moves that we made that you don't have access to. We scrimmed E United as warm-up every single week. I saw Impact going against Licorice hours and hours of time. I knew exactly how good he was, and I wouldn't have made the decisions I had made without that information. I'm not going to just roll the dice and hope this thing works out.
Yeah.
And it was, I made the decisions I made for the long-term health of Cloud9, and I'll prove it on stage, and that's what I had to do. It was tempting to go out there and just try to preach on it. No, we're gonna win. No, we're gonna win. It's like, you know what? I'll just wait, because if I come out there and said that, the people would just just tore me apart. So I just tried to say, have faith, and we'll see what happens. And there was a large segment of my fan base, of our fan base, that believed in us. And this is those guys that believed in us, now they feel really good, and those guys that doubted us were like, oh cool, the next time this happens, maybe I won't try to burn to burn you down. Yeah. It feels good to be here on the other side of that, because I know it scared a lot of our fans, those changes that we made, and it's good to see that those bets paid off.
Well, it certainly has shown to be true. Switching gears really quickly, how was it like winning the major, with your CSGO team?
Yeah, that was the highlight of my career, for sure, without a doubt. I've had a lot of really cool experiences on Cloud9 and TSM when I was managing them, and that was definitely something that I'm never going to forget. And if someone was to say what is the highlight of your professional career, that would be it. Without a doubt, that was what made it special is because that was a team. When I first started in the Counter-Strike, I acquired the Complexity team, and over time, each player ended up bringing on my own guys. Started with Skadoodle, and we went through the ups and downs of bringing on Stu 2K. That was rough, but it really obviously paid off. Automatic, Rush, and then Tarek, and that was when I hired Rush and Tarek. That was the first time I had a full five-man group of Counter-Strike that never wasn't part of a prior team. I didn't acquire a team. That was a team built by me, and then those players, took that opportunity and just took it to a whole new height together, along with Valens, and it was definitely a pride moment. to see those guys do so well. I'm really happy for them, especially for Skadoodle, who's hadn't really seen that he'd wanted to go to a major and get out of groups for so long, and he stuck it out with us, and it paid off. So yeah, and I'm really happy to have been a part of that, to see it happen, and those guys are going to stick around together for a long time, and I'm really excited to see what they do.
Awesome. And with your thoughts, and I got to talk to Reaper last week. It seems like you're really preparing for Worlds, so it would be great to see Cloud9 winning across games.
Yeah, that's
at the world level.
I mean, you got some Overwatch success, which is awesome, and we got the Counter-Strike going, and like honestly, like, it's sort of a really unique time for Cloud9 where a lot of our teams are performing at a super high level, and I'm just soaking it in because esports are full ups and downs, and try to like soak us all in. So when we do have we hit the road, hit the dirt on one of my teams, that hey, we did have some good times here. So nothing is forever, so I'll try to enjoy it while I can.
Well, best of luck with that. Lastly, speaking of all these Worlds competitions, the Olympics are going on right now. What are your thoughts on esports ever making it into Olympics and representing a country there in that way?
I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love it. Like it, esports. I don't think it's necessary for us to participate in the Olympics. I think we're doing just fine without it. But I think that it would be a really good move for esports to become a part of the Olympics. I think it reaches a huge audience, a huge younger audience that I think they'd be really happy to tap into. And I think it would, for the esports professionals, I think it would mean a lot to them to represent their countries at an event like a prestigious event like that. So I'd love to see it happen. I don't think it's live or die for us, but it'd be really cool if it happened.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks,
I
Mark.
appreciate it.
Yeah, too.